Now, for a while, I've been talking about a £1 million portfolio, especially in my ISA. But I genuinely don't think £1 million enough, and I think you will all agree with me. So I'm changing the plan a little bit, and I'm going to showcase it. Not too much, but we need to go through it, a bit of a refresh, and what I found out over the last couple of months. So the aim really now is I want 1.8 million in assets. I do still want the goal and the achievement of maybe getting to that 1 million in an ISA, depending if things change or not. But let me know in the comments, what is your goal for retirement? Age, assets, whatever it may be, let me know. And make sure you like the video, help the algo. But let me just give you a little bit of me. I've been investing for like 11 years now. And I started through the world of index funds through Nutmeg a long time ago. And I talked about my journey to starting investing on my newsletter recently. I went into crypto, I built a business there, and then I've kind of circulated back to having more diversification with obviously my ISA. Weirdly, for a long time, I didn't really have an end goal. I was young, I was free, I was able to just build. But now, as I've got kids, I want to kind of have a bit more, as you can imagine, an end goal. And I think it's important to have a plan. Investing plans, an end goal, and a way in between to kind of be consistent about it. And I think it just makes clear sense, especially if you're thinking retirement. When I first started the channel, the second video I did was building a £1 million dividend portfolio. That hasn't changed, and I still want to do this. It's done very well for a brand new channel. But that's the thing. That is only one part of the story. But when you look at lifestyle, when you look at getting older, hopefully you spend less, but inflation will eat into that pot. So, as I say, I think £1 million realistically may not be enough. This £1 million in a dividend portfolio will give me survival with the income side of it. But you still need more. You still need, I think, a situation where you don't have that one point of failure. Where, yes, if you're all in on, say, dividend portfolio, great, but that could crash and burn when you think about it. This is why we need to talk about the other side of it in terms of assets, whether that is a house, pension, or cash savings. Now, the situation I was looking at on the screen here was my overall portfolio. Let's just say £1 million, and I've just made this to showcase that with dividends, you will get a nice income. That is quite important, but that is in one place and one place only with roughly 3% yield on cost. That will not be perfect, by the way. But the point I'm trying to make here is in certain environments, you will get income, whether it is growth, whether you get dividend income, whatever it may be. But again, if you are looking at the 4% rule, which is what is quite standard these days, you will be pulling out 40 grand of £1 million. But in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, however old you are, will that be enough? And this is why I say I don't think it will be. Because yes, when you turn it up to 1.8 million, it's a lot more dividend income. Cool. It's also 72 grand a year you need to draw out, and we'll talk about pensions in a minute. But it's all about being flexible, watching your spending, obviously. Understand that you are going to get income somewhere else. Actually living your life properly, because I'm not keen on frugality. I'm not keen on working my absolute bollocks off to then live a very boring, modest life and only being able to go to the cheap place on holiday. That's not what life's for. But here's the reality. I need to be brutally honest with you. I probably won't retire in the traditional terms. I think everyone's different in this sense. You may work in a factory, you may fucking hate your job. And I get it. You want to save, put as much money in your workplace pension and get out as quickly as you can. And that should be, and realistically, a goal for you. But I've been a content creator since 2018. I was in the Air Force Police. I did a lot of stuff. I got a lot of my time taken away from me being in the Air Force for 6 years. That's fine though, because I was able to get out due to the fact of my investments. It allowed me to then build companies and whatever, and I'm still here today because of that. But with that, I can control my time. I can work in my own way. I can take tomorrow off and not worry about it. I can work loads of hours today and not having to worry about it because I choose to do that. But this isn't like a fire movement. It's just about getting your time back. Time is the best, currency in life. And building a plan and understanding that that plan has an end goal to hopefully reduce your working hours. Even if I say to you guys now, if your goal now is by the age of 50 to reduce your working hours or whatever by 12 or 15 hours, whatever it may be, to kind of get more time with your own inner thoughts or do more hobbies, you'd probably take it. But the real goal, as I say, is all about getting that time back. But let's talk about real numbers because I think that's important. I will tell you what I've got, roughly, give or take. I'm not going to reveal fully what my crypto holdings are because that's a bit too crazy. But My ISA currently is £75,000. And I know it says invested 70,000. It's not. It's lower than that. It's actually 60 because you can see the total profit. It's just a broken system. However, I do recommend Snowball Analytics as an option for goal setting. I think it's fantastic for the data and the information, especially for payouts for dividends. Stuff like that is very, very important. The situation is very, very simple. This will eventually, over the course of time, do very well for me. And I know people hate dividends. I get it. It's fine.
Oh, but growth's better. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you.
I get it in the comments all the time. But this is my portfolio. I have growth mechanisms elsewhere with Bitcoin, and I do have other assets as well. I am actively trying to overpay my mortgage as well. So I've got all things covered here. But my overall goal, as you can see, the value wise is in 16 years, roughly, give or take. This is with investments and stuff that in terms of the data. But my investment side of it is not quite 100% correct on here because I got a new fund. So the data is a little bit skewy, but it does work just. However, this being said, I will be looking in and around the high numbers if I am putting 20k in every single year. And on top of that, I am reinvesting my dividends, which are starting to snowball slightly now. So over the course of the journey, if you're following along for the next few years, you will hopefully see this go to the moon. Fingers crossed, anyways. And I hope it's inspiration for you guys to do the same thing. No matter what amount, follow the same path. You will probably do all right. Because my overall goal is to get this, the passive income, flying. And I've already alluded to this before, it will be stupid numbers over the course of time. But as I've talked about before in previous videos, go to my website, go to the investment calculator, build a plan. You can do this very, very easily. If you go to the advanced section, it will talk about more about dividend growth, which is what I look at. I've just done a recent article video on my website about what I look for in dividend stocks in terms of why I pick them and what the methodology. I know I'm like a broken record, but ultimately I think people misread it. But ultimately, as you can imagine, right? Say, for example, right, you've got 20 grand in your kitty now, and you can afford to put £300 a month in, roughly average return 7% on average. Even if you've only got 20 years left, right? And I talk about like time between salaries and whatever. We'll talk about income in a minute. But a modest yield, modest growth, savings rate, let's just say that goes down to 3% on average. You know, when you adjust inflation for that as well, you know, that's still a decent amount of money that you could have on an ISA pot from literally a 20-year time period. But the thing is, right, over the course of time, this will start to grow. And if you're at the age of nearly retirement, and you do have a SIP, we will come on to that again, and your ISA is packing a punch of 8 grand annual income, sweet, you know, it works. That is a simple methodology with it. But at the end of the day, I want as much money as possible. I think everyone does. So the first step is obviously the income side. I need to keep getting the income. That's like anyone in life. And that doesn't mean to you guys work your bollocks off because no, that's poor quality of life. It's all about being good with your income, being able to budget, plan, have a plan for obvious reasons, and then being able to put it in the right places, whether that is in your stocks and shares ISA, whether that is in your SIP, or into overpaying your mortgage for that stability. Equity is a good thing. You still get 3% growth on average with your house if you have a house. I know not everyone does. The second element is obviously, yes, the ISA. I personally would rather focus, and I know this is a controversial take, on the ISA because of the benefits there. Only because I have a company. I don't get the same tax relief in that sense unless I am personally putting money in. So yes, I could do it in a way that, yes, my ISA gets a chunk. My company as a director will put into my SIP and then I can, through my wages, put into the SIP on top of it and get some of that tax relief. Yes, I can do that. But I don't have to if I've got an ISA that does a tax-free element as well. So there's different variations of this if I so wish to do that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, everyone's different. But the way I look at it with a dividend growth investment vehicle, essentially of my portfolio, if I can draw out 10 grand as dividends without any tax and it's free money and it just stays on the treadmill, so to speak, and it doesn't change much, that's going to be a nice quality of life when you think the rest of it's going to come out of my pension. And then I've got my missus who's got her own as well. So I don't have to worry too much. But ultimately, it still matters because one point of failure. You can't just be all in on an ISA for obvious reasons. Because when you talk about this, the third element of this is obviously the dividend layer. As I say, don't want point of failure. As much as that compounding works and stuff, what if something goes wrong? What if something badly happens to 2 or 3 stocks or some of the funds get hit with certain things? Yes, it's cash flow, but it could stop overnight, which is why that pension is going to be hugely important, which is why obviously owning your own home and not having as many bills there is going to be hugely important. So as much as maybe 1.8 million sounds like a stretch, It's more of a comfort blanket. It's more of like a massive emergency fund. It's more the fact that, oh bollocks, what if I just go mental and go, aha, let's go and buy a yacht somewhere and just go around Monaco for a bit. That could happen. You just don't know. But the simplicity actually is time with consistency around that, which will allow, hopefully, fingers crossed, the compounding effect. My plan is quite simple. It is, isn't it? Realistically, it's having the ice, having the sip, and having the house to fall back on just in case. But I do have ultimately Bitcoin. Bitcoin is massively important. Yes, I may have six figures in the stock market. That's fine. But I've had a lot of money in crypto and I still do. And I have done for a long, long time. But as I say, none of this is guaranteed, is it? When you think about it in logical terms, even though that looks great right now, and you can buy new stocks, you can change it all you want, markets and returns won't ever be perfect. Life also will get in the way. You might break a leg. You might be self employed. You might get like chronic illnesses out of nowhere. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. I know, it sounds brutal, but still, what would you rather have? As I say, loads of money just in case, or no money and live forever. But the thing is, that I want to say as well, if you are like literally investing in your own self, your own development, your own wealth, whatever it may be, you're probably ahead of most people, anyways, realistically, because you're thinking about, well, what if scenarios. Because as well, you might also have aging parents that you may have to help them with care. That might cost you money as well. So the situations that could turn this spiral in a totally different way. But the thing is, right, you can go onto my platform and you can look at the wealth tracker. This is all going to change in a way. I'll explain more in a second. But more importantly, right, you can have this wealth breakdown of 1 point, nearly 2 million, right? Cool. Awesome. Mint. Well done. But you could still have genuinely with those amount of assets live in markets, realistically, you may not want to, but they could still grow over the course of time. Even though there's inflation on here, you could still have growth cargoes on your property equity. Sweet. You could still have your pension return of monies, even in a higher risk or low risk, whatever situation, there's still returns there to be had. Same with your stocks and shares ISA. You may actually still make money because it gets reinvested into the markets and that grows in terms of your funds, right? Which is mental. And you're not drawing out enough because you don't need to, because you've got enough there. You could still be making money even though you're at a high point, which is mental when you think about it. And my old man's the same. My dad, he's been retired since the age of 58. He's made more money in 2 years and he's drawn out an income from his pension and is above still because the returns have been so good. And I know it's a purple patch, but it just makes it so much easier. But most people don't fail at investing because it doesn't work. They only fail because they don't really have a plan, or they just jump in on a whim and think, oh, this could be amazing. Then it gets a bit hard. They oh, I'll give up. Or they just don't start at all, realistically. On the screen is my Plus membership. That founder member side of it, in terms of the discount, it's only going to be there for 2 weeks at least. I am going to be adding financial data modeling to the tools, so they will be much better. I am also building a new ETF and a stock screener, which will have the data and as well as better ratings. I have showcases for members, but it's going to be very, very interesting. The build so far has gone very, very well. So yeah, if you enjoy the ETF screener, which is the free version, wait until you see the new one. It's unbelievable. But yeah, if you're starting from £1 or £100,000 or whatever it may be, the goal is not to hit stupid numbers tomorrow. It will take time. It's about building over time, a bit of a system, a bit of a plan, a bit of a situation where I can follow this. This is quite good. And I can do it without any sort of dramas. And the plan is to document my journey throughout this channel over the course of time. So I hope it does nudge you in the right way. And if you're not yet done so, this is my latest portfolio update. Feel free to give it a check.